What's going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here at Wow Motorcycles in Marietta, Georgia. Guys, in front of us, we have a classic 2018 Kawasaki Z900 RS. So, guys, I'm doing something interesting in this first ride. 6 years ago, I rode one of these. It was actually the exact same color, year, model, and everything. And today, we are doing a first ride on the Z900 RS because I'm curious, how has my first ride mentality changed over the last 6 years? Now, obviously, guys, this is a used model. I'm not sure exactly how many miles it has on it. It has a couple little modifications, but nothing major. Today is going to be a super interesting first ride, and stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to tell you guys if this thing is a purchase or pass. Let's jump back in time and find out how the Z900 RS looks and see what it sounds like.
Wow, a motorcycle. Wow, a dealership.
Oh my God! Wow!
May it be known, this bike has no business sounding that good. And if you want something else that sounds good, 10% discount on Cardo's, link in the description. Get yourself a Z900. Okay, bye. All right, guys, that's what it looks like, and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get on this classic, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that is my absolute favorite phone mount, Quad Lock. So, the Z900 RS here has a bar mount, as you can see. So, the Quad Lock mount that I'm using is the bar clamp. That's going into the ball mount with this little articulating arm, my new favorite thing. Let's just say you want to move this thing around, loosen it up. You move it wherever you want it, and boom, tighten it up, and it stays right there. This little guy is actually going to stop your camera on your phone from being jiggled around and messed up. And then, of course, that ends in the classic Quad Lock. You pair that with the phone case, and then you have a phone mount, the best one on the market. If you guys want to get a discount on your own Quad Lock for your motorcycle, they fit literally every bike on the market. Just use my link in the description down below. That will get you guys a discount on what is easily the best phone mount on the market. So good that Oscar Piastri, the F1 driver, uses it too. Boom. Done. All right, let's get on this bike, guys. I've never done this before. I've never ridden a bike that I've done a first ride on like 6 years in the future. For you guys that don't know, I know I've got some pretty long-term fans on this channel, but do you guys know that July of this year marked the 10-year anniversary of me doing first rides? How crazy is that? Okay, so guys, I'm 5'10", I have a 32-inch inseam, and as you guys can see, my legs are crazy bent. So shorter riders, you're gonna have no problem with this thing. Let's get this thing going. Okay, we are in neutral. Boom. We do have modes, if I remember correctly, or maybe I do not remember correctly. Okay, we have a traction control, we have all that info. Oh, there's the odometer. Bro, this is a 6-year-old motorcycle and it only has 5,388 miles. That's insane. Okay, cool. Oh, we can turn traction control off. All right, noted. Okay, so for traction control modes, we have off, we have first gear, and we have second. And those are all the traction control modes. Bro, we're just gonna keep that stuff in one, right? We're fine. All right, guys. That's all she wrote. Let's get this bike rolling. We're here to ride bikes, man. We're not here to talk and sit on them. Also, guys, while I would love you to subscribe to the channel for all the awesome first rides that we do, I would love you, if you want updates on what we're doing around the channel, to subscribe to our newsletter. YouTube does a terrible job of letting you guys know what videos we put out, and that's the best way to do it. Sign up. We only send you one email a week, and we'll see you in your inbox. Alrighty, guys, let's get this first ride started and get to find out how much traffic we're gonna run into today. Before the video starts, you guys drop a number in the comments down below. At 5 is the traffic's gonna be terrible and stopped. 1 is gonna be we're barely gonna get any traffic. Let's go ahead and put our guesses in the comments down below, everybody, and we'll see who's right. Alright, guys, guess time is over. It's a first ride. Let's start it out right and talk about body position on the Z900 RS. First thing I have to mention is how freaking comfortable this seat is. If you guys have ever wanted to ride a motorcycle and feel like you're on a couch, the seat on this thing is absolutely fantastic. So as far as my lower half, my legs are bent back a little bit, but they're still in a relatively comfortable position. And then my upper half is leaned forward a little bit, and the handlebars, as you can see, kind of bend upwards, and it puts my arms in a very comfortable position. That hole was giant. But overall, I'm really comfortable in this position, and the only thing kind of interesting is how slightly sporty my legs are, but overall, I really love the body position on this thing, especially for cruising around town or something like that. It would be fantastic. So guys, this is typically where I'll be changing the modes in the motorcycle, but the Z900 RS doesn't have any modes. Although it does have ABS and it has a few levels of traction control. That's what KTRC stands for, as traction control for Kawasaki. So with traction control, we have off, 1 and 2, 1 being the least aggressive, 2 being the most aggressive. And honestly, so far, 1 has felt really good. And since we're riding on city streets, I'm probably going to keep it in 1 for the duration of this video. But let's talk about the power plant behind the Z900 RS. We've got the Kawasaki 949cc inline 4, which is putting out a really smooth amount of power. I find myself not riding too many inline 4s these days, so it's really cool to be back on one, especially in such a smooth platform. And that power plant is going to be good for around 111 horsepower and I believe 74-ish foot-pounds of torque. All of that coming in a weight of around 460 or 470. So it does seem a little on the heavier side, but power-wise is absolutely solid. Guys, I have an actual fact checker right now, and I was just fact checked that this bike has 74 foot-pounds of torque. So thank you for that information. Just so you guys understand, this is the top level information you're getting here on the Chaseontwowheels channel. We are investing millions of dollars to make sure we have artificial intelligence, making sure that I tell you guys the correct information. If you're a fan of artificial intelligence, let me know in the comments down below. It'll be a fun conversation down there. Ooh, let's follow the Porsche. So guys, as far as city performance on the Z900 RS, the body position and the handlebars really gives this bike a fun vibe on the road, especially in traffic. I've got a lot of purchase with the handlebars, and with the bike, it is a little heavy to go back and forth, but the power of this thing more than makes up for it. You know, with an inline 4, I thought I was going to have to rev it out to really get to the power, but I have been super happy with how much this bike has just on tap and ready to go. And also, the engine braking is so much more than I expected it to be. This thing is an absolute gem riding around town, dude. I also really appreciate how light that clutch is. You know, in town, you're going to be using that clutch on and off, and we'll talk about the controls later in the video, but I just, you know, when you feel something on a ride, you got to appreciate it. All right, let's get this thing leaned over and see how she feels, because the power is there. Oh, the power is there. Woo! My goodness gracious. Okay, I need to be careful on this thing. Okay, so I have to say the suspension is a little soft. I will say that. So when you get the bike, which is a little heavier, leaned over and you're throttling through, there's not as much like really solid stability as I would like to have. But I'm gonna be honest, and this might just be me being an idiot, there is a level of funness that you can have on a super comfortable motorcycle that has way more power than it has any business having. That, you know, the suspension isn't as premium and it's kind of wiggling all over the place. I don't know, maybe it adds to the vintage vibe that this thing has, but this thing's awesome. That is my initial impressions. I will say, look at the throttle, guys. I really don't know what to think about this throttle. There is a initial hit that throttle gives the bike that it's relatively aggressive. I don't know what this Tesla's doing. All right, we're just gonna get around the Tesla. What the hell was that? Literally just braking in the middle of a road with no traffic. Okay, let's not do that. But yeah, guys, I gotta say, I'm really surprised that an inline 4 is acting that punchy from the get-go. One of the characteristics of an inline 4 typically is that it's really smooth. And once you get into the power of the bike, it is, but that initial power is really surprising. I would not have expected that on this bike. Oh, and now we got the highway coming up. Oh, we got no wind protection. This is about to get real interesting. Alrighty, guys, we have a job to do. We got to find out how fast the 2018 Kawasaki Z900 RS can go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, thanks to our buddies over at Law Tigers. They are the motorcycle lawyer you need to call if anything happens to you on the highway or on the road and on a motorcycle. All right, where do we need to be? Oh, God. On your mark. Get set. Sorry, Forrester. Go! Oh, yes. I am way over 80. Whoopsie! Holy shit, that was awesome. Oh, that was great. I did not expect that kind of power out of this thing. This is great. Dude, this is a 900. Oh my God, I miss an inline 4, dude. That's so great. All right, guys, so we're chilling on the highway with the Z900 RS, and holy crap, was that entrance fantastic. Oh, what was the time? What was the 40 to 80 time? I forgot to ask. That was honestly so impressive. Okay, so we're here on the highway, guys, and that softer suspension is coming in so clutch right now. This bike is absolutely comfortable here on the highway. Yes, I do have a lot of wind on me, so I'm not gonna love this bike for, you know, touring or anything like that. My upper half is getting blown around quite a lot, but power-wise, this thing is so much more than ample on the highway. I'm starting to wonder if there's some sort of windscreen you could maybe get for this bike for the highway. One of the things that is sad is that it does not have any sort of cruise control or anything like that. But I gotta say, I'm loving the suspension right now. I'm loving the power delivery here on the highway. I just don't love the lack of cruise control and the wind that is getting hitting my chest right now. I do feel like I'm getting blown around quite a lot. As far as stability, though, I'm getting no major vibrations. I'm getting these kind of like soft vibrations in the handlebars and in my feet. But honestly, if I wasn't on this first ride looking for it for you guys, I probably wouldn't even notice or say anything about it. They are very soft and subtle, and I am not worried about it at all. Overall, other than the wind, this thing is way better on the highway than I would have given it any credit for. So, nice job, Kawasaki. All right, let's pace down a little bit, and let's see if we can get this thing leaned over. All right, guys, pacing down so I can run straight into the back of that car. God, they are going so slow. Come on, man. Yeah, this is where that suspension's not going to be your best friend, man. It just does not make you feel locked in when you got it leaned over. It's it's kind of, you can feel it bouncing around and trying to settle itself. Not the best. Not the best for like real sporty riding. Where's this car going? Okay, we're just gonna get around this car. They don't know where they want to go. So yeah, the suspension, fantastic if you want something really smooth. That highway was fantastic, but as always, there is a give and take with motorcycles, and if you want something incredibly comfortable like this bike can be, you're gonna have to give up some of that sportiness, and this bike is definitely skewing towards the side of being comfortable, but it still has the power, which I am very much appreciative of. All right, let's try to be super easy with the throttle and see if that helps out with this kind of power surge that the throttle has. So guys, overall, I gotta say I am super happy with the inline 4 that the Z900 RS has. This engine, it puts down power so nicely. It does feel a little more focused towards the mid-range. You know, you're talking like 3,000 to maybe 5,000. And if I understand correctly, the Z900 RS is tuned slightly differently than the Z900 to give it a more mid-range power delivery, and I really like this. It still gives me that really sporty, fun feel that I want out of a motorcycle, but it does feel like controlled and smooth and exactly how I want it to. So I can appreciate the tuning that Kawasaki did on this bike specifically. You know, we've been touching on suspension, and I think you guys get the understanding on the suspension. It's a lot softer than I really want it to be. It is adjustable, so I guess you could adjust it to kind of fit your settings, but even, I mean, you would have to be able to adjust the suspension quite a lot to get it to feel, I feel like really locked in, because it's on like super comfortable suspension mode. So let's talk about the gearing real quick. I do feel like the gearing might be a little off. You know, like I was telling you guys, the power of the bike is really in the mid-range. So if you try to really rev the bike out, you're gonna get to the top end of the revs, and the power does seem to chill out up there, and then you still want to keep going. So I would almost shorten the gears on this bike to really accentuate how the bike feels with that really fun power in the mid-range, and that way I don't have to keep short shifting it. And maybe 6th gear could be like an overdrive gear where it's a lot taller. I think if I was going to have any recommendations, that's kind of where I would put them. As far as the shifting gears goes, I am having a couple times where it's not really wanting to get into neutral, but other than that, I do get a satisfying click from the shifter. Haven't really had any issues. If anything, it's on the slightly lighter side, so no real problems there. I will say I'm not 100% happy with the brakes. On the way to the first ride, and as we've been riding it around, I've been in a couple situations where I had to get on the brakes pretty quickly, and the brakes just don't have that really strong initial bite that I would like them to have, and they also don't feel incredibly strong either. So far for me, I would almost say the brakes are the biggest issue with the bike as a whole. That's a really cool looking Bronco. Man, that McLaren is taking this bump very seriously. Lord God, dude, your car's low, but it ain't that low. My goodness. All right, guys, so let's talk about this kind of older cluster and controls up here up front. And first off, it is a 2018 motorcycle, meaning that it is, what, 8 years old? That is quite old for a bike, but I'm surprised it only has 5,000 something miles on it. Regardless though, you guys can see how the buttons have held up and what buttons have held up. Bro, he was just like, nah, I'm not doing it. He was like, I'm not doing this road. I'm done. That's hilarious. But guys, the controls don't look that bad to me for a bike that's, you know, been out in the world for almost a decade. I mean, you know, we got a little bit of aging over here for sure, but the left side's holding up really well, and I do like that you do button for the hazards is totally removed. I don't know what happened with that, but you know, it's a Kawasaki. It's not, you know, the cream of the crop premium buttons, but I will say all the buttons that are here they do have a click. They're still working like great, so they're holding up. They don't look fantastic, but overall not too bad. We do have adjustable levers here, so we do love that and appreciate it. And the controls are very easy. You just have this toggle here with the select, and that's how you change the information on the screen. No problems there. Everything's still working totally fine. Got no issues. And one of the things that I am really appreciating is that Kawasaki gave us physical needles on this bike. And granted, that wasn't a massive deal back in the day, but now that we're in an age where all bikes have LCD screens and shit, I love the nostalgic vibe that I'm getting from the TAC and the Speedo. And just, I don't know, man, there's something really nice about watching a needle just go up the rev limiter. There's something about that that just is pure motorcycling, and it's really cool to be back on a bike that uses that. I am very much here for it. Final touches that we'll talk about are the rear brake. The rear brake, I feel similar to the front brake. It's just not really there. But one of the things I just realized is, you know, while I'm riding this bike, this is not a new bike, and it might just need a new set of pads on the front and the rear. That could be causing that lack of braking feel. So I don't want to give the bike too many negative marks, because that's one of the things I need to remember when I'm riding bikes that actually have miles on them is, you know, these things have been ridden. They might not have been maintained like they should have been. So that's stuff to consider. Man, that ABS kicks on so fast on the rear. All right, guys, I know y'all been getting to watch the video with all the camera car stuff. By the way, shout out to all the sponsors of the First Ride Show. Without these companies, we would not be able to bring you guys that cool camera car footage. But what we're going to do up here is I'm going to get off the bike and we're going to do a little walk around of it so we can check it out. And then we will answer the question of, is it a purchase or a pass? Let's see how many people are in the parking lot. There's no way there's somebody in our parking lot. Guys, this may be a first. Hold on. I don't want to get too crazy too fast. I think somebody might be parked in our parking spot. Oh my gosh, revolt. Revolt, everybody. Oh my God. Nobody has ever parked in our parking spot and stopped me from making this video for you guys. Oh my goodness, they have. Okay, this is a disgrace. Hold on. We're going to have to do a slight modification, guys. I apologize. This, what is that? Honda something? How dare you? Hold on. Guys, we got to investigate. I can't believe this travesty. We are not able to park in lot 147. Oh my gosh. It would be a Honda CR-V. This is what happened, guys. Honda must have planted that there to throw us off with the Kawasaki First Ride. Stupid competitors. All right, guys, sorry. That has just never happened to me. I can't believe what a travesty this is. All right, let's do the walk around of the Kawasaki Z900 RS. Okay, guys, some of the really cool things about this bike. One is the styling. I feel like if you're going to buy this motorcycle, one of the main reasons you're going to do that is because of the styling. We have this really cool shaped gas tank that looks fantastic. We've got the Z900 RS logo. We've got this classic tailpiece. It is just a solid looking bike. I even like the chrome exhaust. It kind of throws you to like old school looking bikes. And there's something about having the really bright headers coming off the front of the engine with a blacked out engine that just has a really cool vibe. I just realized that there are turn signals. Do those work? I didn't even notice those earlier. Oh snap, those are awesome. I really like those turn signals. I'm a big fan of that. But overall, guys, yeah, classic styling. Those are your crappy Kawasaki branded brakes. Who the hell knows actually what brand those are, but not a big fan of those. Really want them to bite more. I wonder if we can see how much padding is in those brake pads. And it's kind of hard to see. It looks like it's got padding left, so not really sure why they wouldn't really be biting like I want them to. Overall, guys, I think this is a solid looking bike. I appreciate that the fender isn't really gaudy, I would still want a fender eliminator on this thing though. And this is that super comfy seat. I love that thing. Probably my favorite piece of the bike is how comfy the seat is. And actually the whole bike is super comfortable. All right, guys, I'm gonna grab my phone and we're gonna do some videos for our people over on TikTok and Instagram. If you're not following us, we are at C2ThePix on Instagram and we're at Chaseontwowheels on TikTok. I'm gonna film some stuff for them real quick and I'll be right back. All right, my friends, that's it for the vertical content. If you guys want to check it out, it's over there. Check it out. Links in the description. So, all right, guys, we got two more things to do on the Z900 RS. We got to see what the steering stem lock is, and then the age-old question, is it a purchase or a pass? There we go. You know what? I'm doing it for the people. I'm putting this in lot 147. I don't care, Honda. You don't dictate what we do. Ha. Okay. We showed them. Yep, see, didn't want to get it neutral. All right, guys, steering stem, that's not as locked as I would have thought it would be. All right. I would say that's probably top 30 to 40 percentile. All right, my friend, steering stem lock has been done. Now we have to answer the age-old question of, is the 2018 Kawasaki Z900 RS a purchase or pass? Let's find out. We've got the power to go. We've got the power to do it. Woo! Alrighty, guys, you sat through the entire first ride, all so you could hear me say the words, is this bike a purchase or pass? Alright. So, if you're asking me personally, I would have to say the Z900 RS is, I'm gonna say pass, and I'll explain why. I feel like the Z900 RS is a fantastic bike, especially for a 2018 model, and I feel like it is crazy comfortable. But hey, that was a CF Moto, that was awesome. So the problem is, while this bike skews more towards the comfortable side, Yamaha has an XSR 900 that's in the same vein of this bike. It's a brand new bike that's made to look old school. And that bike skews more towards the sporty side. And I fit that kind of situation more in this part of my life. So I think I would personally go with the XSR 900, but if you are somebody out there that wants the newer aged motorcycles, you want the newer tech like ride modes, or the newer models have ride modes, but this one doesn't specifically, but you want stuff like ABS, you want traction control, but you still want that old school look in a bike, that's the person that I really feel like needs to be looking into this model. And you also would need to want a bike to skew more comfortable than more aggressive. You know, I'm not saying you couldn't take this bike to the mountains and have a good time, but there are better models to do that on and still get that old school look. So if you're the type of guy looking for a comfortable ride but still looks like old school but has modern tech, the Z900 RS definitely needs to be on your radar. Guys, before I wrap this video up, I do want to give a big shout out to WOW Motorcycles in Marietta, Georgia. We're going to have a bike provided by link in the description down below. WOW is actually the dealership where I bought my first motorcycle at, and we have been doing a ton of videos with those guys. So if you guys are in the market for a used bike, WOW is the place you need to check out if you're in the North Georgia area. And guys, that's all I've got on the 2018 Z900 RS. One thing I think would be super interesting for you guys to do, here at the end of the video, I'll have a link to my first time when I did the first ride on this thing 6 years ago. I would say if you're really interested in this bike, go watch that video and see how they are different, this video and that one, and we'll see if my opinion has changed. I specifically did not rewatch that video before this first ride because that's what I want to do. I want to go watch what a first ride looked like 6 years ago and see how they're different these days. But anyways, guys, if you guys are interested in more first rides, we'll have a first ride playlist for you in the description down below. we do a ton of these first tries to help you guys figure out what bike is for you so you guys can get on the right bike for yourself. Anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys make sure to hit that like button if you made it to this point in the video. And Outro crew, let me know what of the retro style motorcycles is your favorite in the comments down below. You guys go out there and ride safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.